I don't have anything selected, any catalogs or anything right now, so you can see the software is blank. But I do have some designs that are populated into this program. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, this is where all my categories are for the catalog. And there is one called All. If I select the All, you'll see that it'll start populating all the designs that I've kind of loaded into the cataloging program. And again, it's called My Design Album. Some of the really, really neat features of it, if I select the design, you will see all the details of the design, and you'll see a color sequence guide, which would be the stitch order for running the design out. If I double click on the design, I get that info as well. Get to see the size, number of stitches, the colors, all of that. I can add keywords to it, like you see a keyword for this one is a corner, because it will fit nicely in a corner of a design. And stuff like keywords is helpful for sorting and stuff, but I wanted to show you that when you get the My Design Album, in the left-hand side you have things like your embroidery designs. So I've taken a little bit of time and I've actually populated some things in here. Like you can see under birds, it says there's 7 designs under birds. And bugs, I have 17. Christmas, 16. 6 corner designs, 20 flower designs. The whole point of My Design Album is just to help you locate and file away your designs, and so that you can quickly locate them for a project you might be working on. There's been a number of cataloging programs out there, and what we did is we tried to take a totally different approach with it, make it a little bit more useful and a lot more powerful so that you could do more things with it. And we're very pleased with what we came up with. And one of the things that is kind of most exciting to me is you can find all your designs quickly and easily. You can, I can come up here to all designs again. And if I had designs in multiple formats, I could just type in the format and it will bring up just those designs. Like I'm typing in a C, so it's showing me all the designs in C2S format. I'm not sure what all I have in here is a PES design, or I can do a WAF design. So I can filter really quickly. And keywords too. So if I have applied some keywords to something like corner, you can see it starts popping in. You can see that this is, I'm typing in APP because these are applique designs. So it's really fun, easy to use. But the real power behind this program also comes in, if I right-click on it, I can open it right into FTC-U, MBQ if I own those programs, or I can click on Edit Design. And when I click on Edit Design, you will notice that it looks very familiar to Floriani software. And this allows me to come in and change colors of a design, do a print preview, so I can print it out. I can also save the design into whatever format I want. There's features like splitting designs. I can do a slow redraw of the design. And you have a lot of different options with it. Fit to hoop, selecting a hoop. So it's a really, really neat program. And I don't want to go into too much with it, just to let you know that there is a new program out. If you want to see a little bit more on it, you're welcome to go to the myfloriani.club. There has been a couple videos on there already. I can kind of bring that up really quick here. You will see that this week's video was on doing exporting artwork for a cutter that was done by Kathy Quinn. But if I go down to my Floriani Club weekly archive, you'll see that I have in here Introduction to My Design Album that was posted on the 1st of September. So if I go to that, you will see that there's a little introduction to that program. There's just I think you'll start seeing a lot more info about it, and we're pretty excited about it. We're pretty sure you will be as well. So make sure you check with your dealer to find out a little bit more about it. And so hopefully, if you haven't seen it, this will be good news to you. And let's go ahead and jump into today's topic of tips and tricks. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let me go ahead and bring up the software here. What I want to do today is just show you a few of the things that I utilize a lot in the software and things, the way that I work through things, to give you hopefully a good idea of a good way to go about either creating a design, creating artwork, or editing, and doing just various tasks. And there's so the things I'm going to focus on are some of the things that I love most about the Floor Anti-Tow Control software. And one of the very first things that I want to show to you is our auto artwork tool in the software. And it's a feature that is hands down the best I've ever seen inside of a software program. And even comparing it to professional programs that work with artwork, this is an incredible tool. And it's located under your wizards right here. So you can see on my screen that I do have, I'm pointing over our wizards, left click on it, and the artwork wizard is located, it's the third one over, auto artwork. And I'm going to bring up a pretty simple design. You can get pretty complex with it, but I'm just going to bring up this tree. I've been doing a lot of stuff getting ready for Christmas, and so I've actually utilized this design in a couple things. So I'm going to bring this up. When I go to next, I have the ability to kind of select the size of the design. It is in millimeters right now. I do know that 100 millimeters is about 4 inches, so I'm going to change actually the height to 100. I'm going to go to next, and the next section is your color reduction section for auto artwork. And what this does is it's just kind of looked at this design, and it has figured out what colors exist in it. So you have a white, 2 shades of green, and a brownish color. And I can reduce the number of colors right here, but I don't want to do that because I do want these 2 different shades of green here. And you can also go in and edit the design, which I will show you in a little bit using a different feature. But I'm going to go to next. And the thing that the software is doing right here is it's showing you what it's found. And you can see around this green box right here, you have a black outline. And around this one, you have a black outline. It's basically went in and found the outlines around the colors. And that's very important to do. You can see that it did a really good job of finding those areas. I do want to point out that you do have the ability to have the software create the white background as well. Right now, I don't have the checkbox filled. You can see fill background color area. I'm going to go ahead and click it so you can see what that's like. I can change tolerance value a little bit, and all that does is kind of change these lines, how it outlines all the pieces a little bit. I have found personally that using the default setting has worked the best most all the time. So I don't really change this that much. You can, if you don't get some results that you want, you might play with this tolerance value. And I'm going to go ahead and hit finish now. I do have it to bring in the white background. So when I hit finish, you will see that it has actually created vector artwork out of this image. And I'm going to come back up to here again. And I just want to show you that what I did pick was this tree. And I know it's an image because it does say .jpg on it. I didn't point that out, but that's a photograph basically. It's like one that if I resize it, it will get really grainy. There is no outlines to it. And so what we did is we turned it into outlines. We turned it into artwork. And you can see that I can grab pieces and I can move them. And the one thing that I really love about the way that the auto artwork tool handles images, I'm going to go ahead and delete these white pieces, is that it actually butts up the colors to each other. It does an incredible job of not only finding outlines, but making sure that it fills in areas so that they're touching each other. And that's extremely important when you're working on a design, especially vectorizing a design, because now I can do whatever I want with it. Let's say that I did want to turn this into an applique design. It's very simple to do once I have artwork. And you can see in the color sequence guide over here on the bottom right, it's showing me the order in which it's going to, which each object is. So you can see this branches, the trunk is first, and then I have this dark green area, and then I have the light green area. And actually, if I was going to do this in applique, I would probably end up doing it in this order. I'd probably do the trunk first, this inner part of the green, and then these two pieces second. And so once I have the artwork, it's as easy as I can select all these objects at one time and simply come down to the bottom to the Convert to Applique button. And if I press that button, it's going to turn each of those pieces into applique. Now, I did it all at one time, and I did that because I really wanted to make sure to do it quick and easy, but I can select them all at the same time and go to the Properties box, and I would use a blanket stitch on this. So you can see that I can apply a blanket stitch to it right away. So the nice thing about this is that if I do own like a cutter, I have the ability to very easily save each of these shapes for a cutter. And I can show you how to do that. Now, some of you might be asking, why did the colors change a little bit? And that just has to do with the order in which it does this applique. So let me go to 3D view so you can kind of see here a little bit better. But I can come in, I can select this third object for the trunk, and I can convert it to a brown color here. So if I right click, it's kind of going slow on my computer right now, so I do apologize. I think it's because of the webinar software. But I'm going to select this, go to color 3 to turn that to brown. I can come in here to this applique piece, and I can change it to the third color to that green. I can come down to these two and change them to a different green. So let's just do that really quick so that it's all similar to how we had it before. If I do a slow redraw, you will see that it will do that trunk first. It'll do that darker green piece, the lighter green pieces, and it will be done. And just so you know, you do have the ability to also apply fabric to the background. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. So I'm going to select this trunk. I'm going to come in here and find just a brown color of fabric, apply it to here. Let's come in here. Hopefully we can find 2 different shades of green. Yeah, we can. Let's do this one, and let's come into these 2, and let's add a little bit lighter of a green. And so you can see kind of what it's going to look like as applique. Now, I did say that, once we started with artwork, we converted it to applique, and let's say that we do own a cutter and we want to send this to a cutting machine. The first thing that I need to do is I need to think about what pieces I have. I have a brown piece, I have 2 greens that are the same color, and a darker green. So really, if I'm going to go to a cutter, I'm going to need to be able to have each color separated. So I'm going to come in here and select, first of all, I'll save it. I'm not going to actually save it, but I'd save it to whatever I wanted to name it. I would come in now and grab the 2 green colors. Let's just do a copy, me bring up a new document by hitting the new document and hitting paste. So I have these two pieces in one file. I'm going to come over here and grab this green one. I'm going to copy it, make a new document again, and paste it in there. And then I'm going to take this brown piece, copy it by hitting the copy button, hit the new page button, and then hit paste. So now I have each color in its own page. And the reason for that is I want 3 different files. I want a file for this one, I want a file for the other one, for the other colors. And once I have these on their own page, all I have to do is file, export artwork, and it knows when I'm working with Applique, it knows to take the placement line and create it from there. And I want to point out that if you do have a silhouette, cameo silhouette cutter, you would want to save in the SVG format. If you have the Brother Scan and Cut, you would choose the FCM format, and that will allow you to load those designs into those programs so that they can be sent to the cutter. And it's as simple as doing that. So I would just save, like if I have the Brother Scan and Cut, I would save it as whatever name I wanted. This could be light green. And I could save these. Let me go to this darker color, file, export artwork again, because I just want the artwork. Let's go to FCM, and I'll type in dark green, hit save, and then go to the trunk, file, export artwork, call this one trunk, FCM format, and save. And now I have all 3 of those files ready to go for my cutter. Now I would just go and put them onto a jump drive and take them over, either load them into the software for the silhouette or have it onto a file, a little jump drive thing for your scan and cut. Let's see here. If I go to import artwork, just want to show you. So let's see here. We've got those 3. Now I'm ready to go. Now I have my stitch file, I have my cut files, and I can go ahead and cut those pieces and stitch them out and make an applique with it. So using the auto artwork tool is very handy for doing things like this. You can also do just regular designs with it. I like to utilize it for cutters. I choose to work with vector artwork as much as possible, so anytime I can get it into a vector format, I will. And I'm going to go ahead and close these out really quick. And I'm going to bring up a new design here. And I want to show you a little bit about doing the same design, but actually doing it with converting it to stitches as opposed to just artwork. So let me go to the artwork auto digitizing wizard. So I'm hitting the wizard tool. I'm going to go to my auto digitizing wizard, and I'm going to select the image again. Let's go to this tree and hit open. Go to next. I'm going to change the height of it again to 100 millimeters. I'm going to hit next. And this is very similar to what we saw with the auto artwork wizard, right, where it shows you the number of colors in the design. I can, change that number. If I go to next, it's actually going to show me the vectorized outlines, just like the auto artwork wizard did. If I go to next again, I'm not going to check this box because I don't want that white background. The only difference with the auto digitizing wizard from the auto artwork wizard is you get this judgment page. And basically what the software has done is it's taken that image, it's found the outlines, and now it's asking you, what do you want to do with this artwork when we convert it to stitches? So there's some important things that go on in this page, like do you want to minimize color changes or minimize jumps in the design? I tend to minimize color changes as much as possible. That's the default setting. If you want there to be lock stitches are those little tiny stitches that take place before and after a trim or a color change so that the thread doesn't unravel. So you can have it as always, never, or around a trim. And you can tell it how you want to trim, how you want to handle trims, never, always, or at a certain distance. I tend to keep the default settings, yes.
DJ, excuse me a minute, but your sound is going in and out. Could you adjust your mic better?
I don't have any way of adjusting the microphone.
Okay, because it's going in and out and kind of bubbly sounding. Okay, go right ahead.
And so once you get the settings how you want them, you would hit finish. And that's going to take the design and it's going to go ahead and convert them into stitches. So you can see it does a really good job of just taking this design and actually converting it into stitches. So you have the ability to do it as artwork or go right into converting it for embroidery. Now, one of the things I do want to point out with this is that this auto-digitizing wizard, what makes it so special is that everyone has heard, Walter give some seminars or webinars, and he always talks about compensation, push and pull, and making sure that you have overlapping in your stitches. It's kind of hard to see this color here, so I'm going to change it. Hopefully this will show up a little bit better. But you will see that I have two colors side by side. You can see that there is some overlapping taking place between the different sections. So the auto-digitizing wizard does automatically do this for you so that help you prevent having gaps in your design. And so I wanted to point that out. Auto-digitizing wizard is a great, powerful tool. I do want to show you one more because there are different things that I like to do with designs after I run them through the auto-digitizing wizard. So these are some of the little tricks that I do with it. So I'm going to come back into the auto-digitizing wizard. This time I'm going to come down and I'm going to pick this Santa Claus right here. I'm going to go to next. I do want it to be about 100 millimeters or 4 inches. Now, one of the things with a design like the one that I have up here that might catch you guys a little bit as you try to do designs is that you notice that there's white in the beard and in the hat of Santa Claus, and then the background is also white. So what would happen is if I go to next and I don't want to have the background color appear, if I just go through this and I go to finish, you'll notice that because the beard and the hat had white in it, it just totally ignored those colors. But I do want the beard and the part of the hat to be in there. So let me go ahead and close this. So I'll show you a little trick. It's a very powerful thing inside the software. I have the design. I'm going to come back up to 100. When you get to this select colors, where it shows you the color, you'll see this little edit image icon in the right-hand corner. And what I'm going to do with this design is I'm going to actually change the color of this background here so that it's I can remove it but still keep the white. So I'm going to hit Edit Image. When I do that, it's going to open up Windows Paint. This is a program that's just on your computer, and there isn't much that I do with this program at all other than for the auto-digitizing wizard. I don't actually open it at all usually, but I'll just show you two things to do with this. First, you'll want to select a color that is not in the design. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose this green color. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to come over into the Tools section, and I'm going to click on this Fill with Color tool, the little paint bucket. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click in this white background area. I'm going to make sure that all that background is green, leaving the white in the middle, and I'm done. That's all I want to do to this design is just make that background a color other than what's used in the design. Once I have that, I can just hit X to close it, and it's going to ask me if I want to save it. It's only going to temporarily save it, but you want to say yes so that it will load it back into the software. So if I hit save, notice how it comes right back up into the software, and it notices that green color. When I go to next, I'm going to make sure this box is unchecked because I don't want that green area. When I go to next, I'm going to get to the judgment, and I'm going to hit finish. And you'll notice that this time, when the design comes in, it actually has the white in it. So there's, once I get the design up into here, there is one thing I always do. I always try to find this border. You can see that it's kind of hard to see the black around this design. That's because it stitches out first. I'm going to select it in my sequence view, right mouse click, move to last. So right mouse click, move, last, and you'll see that now I have a really good defined border. So once I have the design in here, there is a couple other things I like to do. Now, if I'm going to stitch this design out, I want to make sure that I tweak the stitches a little bit. And like for the beard, I might want this to look a little bit more realistic. So when I select it, you can see that I have it selected over here. When I click on it, my properties box opens up to it. I'm going to choose a random fill pattern and hit apply, so you can see what that looks like. Now, I like the texture of this, but I don't like the direction that the stitches are going because they're going left to right. I want them to go up and down, so it would look a little bit more like a beard would. So if I have it selected, I'm going to go to my shape tool, which is my shape edit tool, and I'm going to right mouse click on the outline and go to set angle at 90 degrees. So I want it to go up and down. So if I set the angle at 90 degrees, I'm going to come over here, right mouse click, click off of it with the selection tool, and you can see that now the stitches are going up and down. I want to do the same thing for this part of the hat. I'm going to come in, choose a random fill pattern, hit apply, come to my shape tool, make sure that I have the angle set at 90 degrees, click off of it, and you will see that I get that effect right here. And I can come in here and I can kind of measure this distance, and it's a pretty big, it's 11 millimeters, so you know, I probably would keep that as a fill stitch. Definitely don't want it to be a satin stitch, but one thing that I can do is I'm going to hold down Control and select both of them at the same time. I'm going to also apply a random fill pattern to these, but I'm going to keep the stitch direction going the other way. And the reason I'm going to do that is a lot of times that part of the beard will be combed in that direction. So it'll give it a whole different effect and a different look. And so those are like some of the little things that I will do with the design. Starting out with the auto digitizing wizard, I will bring it up, make sure that I don't get the background included with it. And once I have the design in, I'll start looking at the stitches and changing them a little bit according to what I think would look best for the design. So the auto digitizing wizard is a great tool. It has a lot of power to it, and I hope that you do take the time to play with some designs, because I think you'll find that it is, if not the best, it's one of the best auto digitizing systems that you can get on the market. So it's very powerful. And so that is the auto digitizing wizard. The next thing I want to show you is the auto cross stitch tool, because there's not a lot of information out there about the cross stitch tool, and I actually really like cross stitch design. I think that they can add a whole different look to things, and so I wanted to make sure that I pointed out that this tool and what you can do with it. So I opened up a new design page, and I'm going to go to the auto cross stitch wizard. And with the auto cross stitch wizard, I'm going to bring up my images again. And the first thing I want to do is this little centipede, whatever it is, I'm not sure. I'm going to open it up, hit next, And I'm going to change this so that the width is 100 millimeters wide. Now, some of the differences here is you're going to have a cross stitch size. This is stitches per inch. So this is set at 12. That's the default. I'm going to keep it at that right now. The other thing is you have repeats. So you can tell it to repeat 0 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And what that is like kind of doing, instead of a single run, it would be doing like a double run stitch, so to make a thicker line. So the higher the number, the thicker that line is going to be. I'm going to do 2 repeats. You can put an overlap so it actually overlaps stitches a little bit. I'm going to keep it right now at the default though. I don't need to transform this. I'm going to hit next. Same as the other wizards. Now it's going to show me the colors in the design. It's going to show me what I have and reduce that number. I can preview it. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And you can see that when I hit next, because I'm the cross-stitch wizard, it brings up these little squares. So it's kind of showing me how the software has read this design and how it's going to structure those stitches inside of these squares. So it's a really nice, because if you don't like what you see here, maybe all you need to do is make the design a little bit bigger or smaller. I'm going to go back just to show you. Look at these eyes right here, X's and the eyes. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put this back at like 45 millimeters, which was what it was at to begin with. And notice how the design looks totally different now. That's because it's a really small design, and it can only do so much detail. So you really can get a good idea before you ever generate the stitches, you know, what it's going to look like before you do it, so that you can play with the size a little bit. I'm going to make this 125, hit next, and next you can see I get even a little bit more detail. Let's go back, because I actually like 100 better. I like how it did the eyes with these little crosses right here, or these little X's. So you can see I also can choose to have the background color if I want. It's white. I don't want that to be a part of it, so I'm not going to check that box. And this is, when I hit next here, this is a really neat feature of this auto cross stitch wizard, is having the ability to apply outline to the colors. So a lot of times with cross stitch, colors can kind of blend together and you don't get that much detail. But if you have the ability to place a little outline stitch around each color, it helps it to pop out a little bit more. So in here, it's telling me what colors are available. You can see the black and the 2 greens. So if I want to apply an outline to any of these colors, I can choose the 2 colors I want. Like I want to do it to these 2 colors. But I don't need to do an outline around the black, because the black is going to stand out. So I could do it, and I'll show you. I can show you what it would be like either way. But when I hit next, notice that it put an outline around those pieces. Let me go back, and now I don't have anything selected. You can see what it looks like. It kind of blends together. Let's go back again, and let me just click all of them so it goes around the black as well. And you can see how it's putting an outline around each of those colors. I think that that is a really nice feature. Let me go ahead and hit finish so that you can see what the design looks brought up into the software. And it does an incredible job working with cross stitch. I do want to show you another one too, just so that we can go through that again. So I'm going to hit the wizard and auto cross stitch wizard. I'm going to select the image. Let's do this horse this time. Hit open. I'm going to do this one at least 100 millimeters in size. I'm going to keep this at 2. So you can see it's found all the pieces. Go to next, and now you can see how the software is going to break it up as far as the grid goes. Hit next again. And I can choose to outline these colors again, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to outline all of these colors and hit next. And you can see that it's done that. It's created the cross stitch. And put an outline around it, and it does a great job. Now, I want to show you really quick a little bit of the slow redraw of it. So I'm going to go one stitch at a time. So this is the first stitch down here, and you'll see as I go to the next stitch, it goes back on top of itself, and then it's going to continue on. It's going to go over each area at least twice because I said I wanted 2 repeats. So it's going to make that a more thick, bold line, and let me just kind of have it continue on. I'll speed up the slow redraw so you can see how it handles doing this cross-stitch design. And just so you know, too, we are recording this webinar just like we do every webinar. And so if you want to see it again or you missed a step, rest assured that we are recording it, and it will be available on the club. Should be available tomorrow on the club, so you can watch it as many times as you need. I'm trying to go slow. I hope I'm going slow enough, but just know that we will be recording this so that you can view it again. So you can see now it's gotten into the outline to go around the little pieces, and so it does a really good job. I encourage you to play around with this and to utilize the cross-stitch feature, the auto cross-stitch feature, because it's a lot of fun. And like I said before, the thing I love about it is that you can come in and you can select, you know, a design, and when you do and you open it up, you can see what it's going to look like before you've ever generated in the software. I did want to point this one out right here. This has white in the eye, so this is another one of those designs that I would want to edit. So I pushed the edit button. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and put that green because I don't want to include that green. But you can see right here with this design how it's kind of leaving some pieces out, and that can be just from the size of the design. So I might have to come back in here and make it a little bit bigger. And let's go next, and let's edit this. So you can see that's a much better job of finding all those areas. And again, to outline everything, it's simply in this outline section, checking the boxes of the colors that you want to outline. Next, you can see what it's going to do for the cross stitch. Hit finish. And I am just using the images that come with the software. So these are all images, designs that you already have inside the software, automatically come up. So it's very simple to do, very easy. Make sure you play around with it because it's a lot of fun. Now, I want to show something that a lot of people ask about, but there isn't a lot of information out there for it. And I'm going to show you a little trick, too, at the same time, of one of my favorite things to do with artwork. So let me go ahead and close all these out. I don't want it to slow my system. I actually want to keep this one. I want to have this one stitched out. I kind of like this one right here. Let me go ahead and open a new document. Okay, so what we're going to do right here is, if any of you do anything for schools or do things for family where you want to have a design and then you want to switch out the names for each person, it's very easy to do in the software. And to get started, though, I'm going to show you, I always try to use things that come with the software. So I'm going to actually bring in a symbol. The symbol's icon is up here in the upper right-hand corner. And I want to bring in, let's just say I'm going to do a sports theme here. I'm going to bring in this tennis ball. Now, this tennis ball, if I go to my, let me go 3D view and zoom in a little bit here. You can see that if I go to the sequence view, I have 3 different pieces here. I have this upper section, this middle section, and this bottom section here. Kathy, can you hear me?
Now I can.
I don't know what happened, but
It just
everything
all
kind of went
froze.
out. But
Yeah,
can
it
you
just
see
all
my
froze.
screen? Do you
Yes,
see?
everything's working now. Your
Okay.
cursor's moving. Everything's good.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Every so often this is based off of internet connections and phone lines. So if something happens to the internet, it's kind of out of our control. We can't, we don't have any control over that. So sometimes these things can happen, but I'm told that we're back up and going now, which is good. So let me go ahead and continue on.
So it stopped at the point that we had 3 sections.
Yeah, and I stopped because I noticed that it froze. So I actually didn't keep going. So
okay, great.
So we have these 3 sections here. I want to make this much larger in size because I want to split it right here in this area so I can drop a name in the middle of this tennis ball. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is, even though this is an embroidery design, I'm going to convert it to artwork. So I have it all selected, and I'm going to come down here to my convert to artwork. And with a click of the button, I've just turned those stitches into artwork, which is really cool. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to select it all. I definitely want to make this larger. I'm going to make this about 4 inches wide. So I'm going to make this into an applique design. So I have it much larger now. And to split this design so that I have 2 sections, an upper and a lower section, it's really easy to do if you have artwork. What I'm going to do is grab my artwork tool up here, my rectangle, and I'm just going to draw a box across it like this. And I might tweak this a little bit. I'm going to kind of come in. I'm going to try to make sure that I have about the same amount of distance above and below here. But once I have this, you can see in my sequence view, I want to make sure that this piece is selected, and I want to make sure that this rectangle is selected as well. What I'm going to do once those 2 are selected, I'm just going to hit this trim button. And when I do this, what that does is it actually trims out that area. You can see I do have the box here just sitting here. I'm going to delete it because I don't need that box. All I wanted to do was to cut out a chunk of this design. Now with that done, I can start kind of playing with this. So this is a tennis ball. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into an applique design. So I'm going to select it all at one time, all those artwork pieces. And I'm just going to click the Convert to Applique button. I'm going to go up to my Properties box. I want it to be a blanket stitch. And I want to choose a fabric. Now, I don't have like a lime green color. So I'm just going to choose this green velvet color right here and apply it to it. So you can see that I've created this applique design, and I have it split out here because I want to come up and grab my text tool, click in here, and I'm just going to type in a name of, this one's for you, Kathy. There we go. I'm going to hit Kathy and hit apply. And what I can do now is I can play with this a little bit. You can see I can either do one of 2 things. I can make this Kathy smaller, or I can space out the other a little bit. I do have room here to make it a little bit smaller, so I'm going to bring this down in size a little bit, and I can fit that in there. I still might want to click and, oh, these are all grouped together right now. Give me 1 second here. And I'm going to make sure that all these pieces are separated. Those 2 are grouped. Let me ungroup those. So now I'm going to select these, and I'm just going to try to select it. Here we go. And I'm going to move it down just a little bit here. And I'm going to take this name, and I'm going to put it in here a little bit better here. If I select all of the ball, let's see here. This is another little trick that I use a lot. You can see when I select that, this is kind of our main shape, but you can see these little squares that go around the design. I'm going to come over here and create this guideline. I'm just clicking on this ruler to the left. I'm dragging over. I'm going to drag it right to where it's in the center right here. So if I do that, now I can click on her name, and I can make sure I know that this is the center. I can grab the center of this name, and I can just drag it right into place. And I can nudge it over a little bit if I want to, using Control and my arrow keys, just to get it where I want it. And I'm going to move these guys up a tad bit. So I have the name sitting in here just fine. This is a little applique design I want to do, but I want to use a lot of different names for this. So to do it, all I have to do is come up here and click on this name drops tool. When I do that, you will see that it comes up, and I have the word Kathy in here. I can add another one. Let's say I do one of Donna. If I select it, I can hit preview. You can see Donna in there. If I go to Kathy, hit preview, you can see Kathy in there. I can add as many names as I want. And once I have all the names that I want, I can just go and save it. And I do have the option in here. I can tell it where I want it to save, so I can change that. It'll do it right now. It's saying the design is this. I can just say tennis. And I have the option of when I save to open all the files or open the first file or not open any of them. I can even tell it what format I want to save it to. So I don't really care to open them up, but I can do that. Open all of them. Then I'm going to hit save and watch what it does. It might take it a second here. I do apologize for that because the webinar system does tend to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So there is in here, let's see, I have the Kathy. I did stop it, but you can see here's the Samantha. So you have the ability to save multiples at the same time. And it's a really handy tool. It's really simple to use. And it's great for family reunion things if you want to do a different name on every shirt or a hat or whatever you want to do. It's just pretty simple to do. Now, I don't have too much time left, so I do want to show you a couple other things that are kind of neat and some little tricks that I've discovered along the way of just playing with the software, because I play with the software all the time. So I'm going to grab a custom shape in here. So I'm going to go to my custom shapes tool, and I want to grab a flower in here. Let's see here. I want to grab this flower 02, okay? I like to utilize motif fills quite a bit, so I have this one selected right here. I'm going to come down and convert this to a motif fill, which is down in the bottom section. It's like a gray star. I'm going to click on it, and you'll see that it applies a motif fill to it. Now, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to choose this little 204 pattern. I want to open it up a little bit. Now, I'm kind of picky. I like to have a border around things. So I'm going to just take this, make sure it's selected, hit copy up at the top, and then hit the paste button. And then this, it just made a duplicate here. All I'm going to do is convert that to a motif. So I'm going to have a motif run stitch go around that design. I think it just cleans it up. So I like to utilize that here. I'm going to find one that I like here, hit apply, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color of it to a darker color. But one of the fun things with the software is our distortion tools. So I'm going to select this fill stitch. I just went over to the sequence, color sequence, and I chose it. I'm going to come up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's this tool called distortion. I'm going to click on it, and you can do things like a zigzag distortion, a wave, a twirl, which is kind of cool. I like that a lot. Pinch. This is the one that I want to kind of focus on, is this pinch right here. Because what I'm going to do is add dimension to this plain old simple flower. I'm going to come into my radius, so I'm going to start moving it down a little bit. I can work on the scale of it to make the size in here bigger. So this looks like it kind of goes right to the edges right there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I think this is a lot of fun. I've just taken that simple flower that was just clip art, and I've now made kind of a center of it, have a little bit more dimension to it, and I'll just show you what this looks like in the slow redraw. So it stitches it out just like it would a normal motif fill. It's just kind of bloating it in the center a little bit. I think this is such a neat tool. And so I'm going to hit undo again. I'm going to bring it back to normal. So how I did that was I just selected that fill. I went to my distortion tool up in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm focusing on the pinch. And when I click on pinch, you can see that that line goes pretty far. I'm just turning the radius down a little bit. And for those of you that want to, see this again, just make sure you watch the video of the webinar, and you will be able to see that. But I think that's a really, really neat tool. So I'm going to do just do a couple things. I want to show you another feature you can use with that distortion. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a motif down here at the bottom. I have it selected. I'm going to add that same motif pattern to it. I'm going to copy it and paste it, and I'm going to take that second one. I'm just going to add a motif border. I'm not going to change that right now, but I'm going to make sure that that motif fill is selected. I'm going to come up to distortion, and look at this. Look at how I can just take this kind of more circular shape, and I can really change it up, change the look up quite a bit. Twirl it. I mean, I can take that and make it look totally different than what it was just by utilizing this distortion tool. So you can see even with this one, I can kind of bring it down, and I could have it kind of go around to the edge there, just like I did the other one. It's a lot of fun to play with these tools. A lot of times we don't know what to do with them. So the best thing to do is just start with custom shapes that come with the software, and bring it in, add a little motif fill, and go up to your distortion tools, and you can create a whole different look in the design. And so it's just a lot of fun. And one of the other things, I know we're getting kind of shorter on time. I have this one open right here. I'm going to undo. I'm going to come back up to the distortion, the pinch. I'm going to get it down a little bit more here. You can see that I have two different colors applied to this design. One of our new features of the software that I love is our color play tool. And I'll be honest with you, I'm working off a different version, so I have some features on here that aren't available yet. So don't let that throw you off. If you watch this video and you see that you don't see all the features that I have right here, it's because we're kind of beta testing that right now. But with the color play, you have the ability to lighten the colors. You can see on the screen it's lightening, or I can darken them, and it's just allowing me, I'll hit reset and go back to where we were. It's allowing me to change the colors of the design. I think this is so neat. You may hit randomize. And with randomize, I can just click, and you're going to see that it's going to totally change the look of this design. A lot of times we're scared to play around with color and to try different color combinations. We've spent a lot of time with this color play feature, getting colors that work well together. And so when you hit this randomize button, you will see that it's picking colors that just work well together. And so it'll help you see that you can change the whole look of a design just by changing the color. So I hope that you guys utilize this color play feature. And again, I'm not going to save that one, but it's just located right up here under your Zoom box. You don't have to select anything. You just hit color play, and it will bring up a little preview window. It'll show you your design, and you can just simply click randomize and have a little 3D view here so you can kind of see that a little bit better. But once you find a combination that you like, simply hit OK, and it will change the colors of your design. I think that's really, really neat. And so I know we're at about 5 o'clock now. There is one other thing I want to show you, though, that I feel is very important because it was part of an update that we did last time. And I want to make sure that people realize this feature of the software and just what all it can do for them. So I'm going to open up a new page. I'm going to go to my Designs tab. This is a Precious Moments design that I'm going to load into the software. And sometimes, you know, we want to edit a design. We want to change, like, maybe some colors. We might want to just edit little parts of a design. But with a design like this that has so many stitches in it and so many colors and different things, sometimes it can be hard to find what you're looking for. Like, for instance, if you wanted to change just the fill pattern for the pants here, you can find the color sequence here. But if I open this up, you can see that there's these run stitches and fill stitches, some more runs. Well, I would have to go through and just select those individually. But we did add this filtering system to our sequence view that is so nice and handy. I'm going to show you that if I want to edit just these fill stitches, I can come into this Show Fill, and it's going to hide all those run stitches. I don't know if you noticed that. You see all these run stitches in here? If I choose Fill, it's going to hide all of those run stitches so I can focus directly on my fills. This is so neat. I've never seen this in any other software program. We're so excited for it. So you can see my fill pattern is smooth. Let's say that I wanted it to be random. It's that easy to randomize it now. And it allowed me to focus on what I wanted to. Let's also say that I want to see everything that's in this color, not just only fill stitches. Let me go back to all segments so I can see everything again. But let me filter it by that 362 color. Now you'll notice that it found two different parts of the design, the pants. Oops, sorry, I don't know what just happened right there.
It knows you're doing a webinar, so it just does it on purpose.
It must.
It does. It knows you're doing. I've never seen this one, DJ. That was good.
No, it had a little. It just skipped in the webinar, I think so. Let me see if I can close this out here. It's always fun when you're doing a webinar. The software or anything that you're doing always wants to kind of mess with you a little bit.
Well, it's
I don't
live.
know if I'll feel that.
It just wants to show everybody that nobody is boss.
So it's give me one second here. I'm going to try to bring this back up really quick.
People tell me it always makes them feel better when I make an error because they do. Well, now you know how I feel with DJ. So it makes me feel good when things go crazy for DJ because they only go crazy for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun, but it's the software. It really is a lot of fun. There's so many things you can do with it. There's so many different tricks to pick up along the way. And the things that I've been kind of showing you today are just some of those things that I enjoy with software, things that I utilize quite a bit, and how I use them. And you know, a lot of times we get, you know, just talking about text or talking about digitizing tools and stuff. So I wanted to make sure I showed you some of the features that make it easy in the software. So hopefully this will load back up. But I know we do have to get wrapping this up as well. But hopefully this will come up here. Give me one second. I think it is just not going to want to work. I killed it, I think.
Killed it.
You know, that feature that I was going to show you, the filtering feature, there is a video for it in the club that actually it's in like the kind of like what's new. So if you have the software open, you go to the My Flooring Today page and you go to what's new. It is in the latest update. So you'll be able to actually see the documentation on it and watch the video on it. Sorry, I can't get my
There's also a video of the week that shows those features as well.
Yep. So sorry about that, but we're at that time now, and I do want to thank everyone for watching today. Sorry that we had a little bit of issue with the internet, but I'm glad that we were able to quickly get back up and going with it. And I hope that you enjoy the webinar. Do make sure that you check in the club, because this will be posted on the club, and it should be available tomorrow. But we do appreciate you all coming. We hope you enjoy the webinar today, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much.